moral banks.
Thank you very much. You know, you can study psychology for years, but finally you come to the conclusion that no matter what a person does, no matter what you, your friends, your family, no matter what anyone does, there's always a reason behind it. There's no such thing as human behavior without a reason. For example, Mrs. Goldfarb was on her deathbed. As she was dying, she sent for her husband. Said, "Sam, before I die, I want to confess to you. I haven't been true to you." He said, "You're telling me? Why do you think I poisoned you?" I have a question to ask you now. I'd appreciate if you would all reply simply by a show of hands. Now that's easy, isn't it? Here's the question. How many of you believe that you are normal? Good. You are the ones who need the treatment. I simply wanted to make sure that I had the right audience. You notice how fast the hands went up with that question? There was no deliberation. No. Very fast. Before the evening is much older, you'll find that this is one of the most difficult questions that anyone could ever put to you. What is normal? Actually, no two of you in this theater tonight are equally normal. Are you? You see, take physical health, for example. Is there anybody here who thinks he's 100% physically healthy? If you have flat feet, imperfect teeth, if you bulge where you should droop, droop where you should bulge, is that 100%? Well, just as there are degrees of physical health, there are degrees of mental health. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before you leave the theater tonight, you will learn what your personal IQ of normalcy really is. You will learn who's really crazy, you or your husband. She knows already, for sure. But what is most important of all, you will discover the psychologist's secret of how to capture the one thing that every human being pursues relentlessly from the moment he's born. The little bluebird of happiness. What is the bluebird's true name? How do you capture him? How do you hold him? There will be a moment tonight when you will hear the bluebird's real name. I promise you, it can be a magic moment. Now, if you ever want to start a conversation with a stranger that will last for hours, don't talk about the weather. Don't say, today was a pretty cool day. Yesterday was raining. Day before that was warm. Day before that was chilly. There's a whole week shot to hell and you've learned nothing. If you really want to learn something about the person and have an interesting conversation to boot, ask them this question. Say, what would you say is the bluebird's real name? Then watch the answers. There will be those who will tell you at once the name of the bluebird, money. Money, 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 money. One man in New York said to his friend, what are you working so hard for? There are some things in this world that are more important than the dollar bill. He said, really? What? Is it a $10 bill, a $20 bill? Then there are those who will tell you the name of the bluebird, love. When I fall in love, that's when I'll be happy. What a ridiculous phrase that is. Fall in love. It means you're walking along a hole, I fell in. What can I do? I fell in. There's no such thing as falling in love. Love is a creation. Anyone who wants it may have it, if you know how to create it. Don't teach your children they've got to go to certain places to find it, like surfer's paradise. And they start running from beach to beach looking for it. You've done a little running yourself, haven't you? There's also no such thing as love at first sight. Can you plant a seed and have it sprout up before your eyes in 3 minutes? There's only one place you can have love at first sight, and that's on television. They only have 20 minutes. Don't be deceived by love songs. Remember that? Remember that song from One Enchanted Evening from South Pacific. Remember that? Sung by Eat the Pizza? Remember the words? One day you'll come into a room, there she'll be. Once you have found her, never let her go, never let her go. Another song came out the same year. It said, "Don't cry, Joe, let her go, let her go, let her go." Don't get your ideas of love from television, movies, or songs. First of all, love songs are the most deceptive things in the world. You notice a love song always chooses one single part of the anatomy to settle on. Always one part. What part? The heart. What are love songs called? Jealous heart. Take my heart. You're breaking my heart. I'd like to see a song called Jealous Nose. Take my liver. You're breaking my kidneys. As far as I go, too. There are those who will tell you, the name of the bluebird, marriage. When I get married, that's when I'll be happy. I have news for you. I see it's no news to you at all. Did you hear about the girl who got married at a very early urge? Well, if you're single and unhappy, all you need to be happy is to get married. Everybody knows that. Why would you have this situation? One man said to his friend, "Tell me, how much life insurance do you carry?" He said, "I don't carry any life insurance at all." "You don't carry any life insurance? With what would your wife bury you?" He says, "With pleasure." It's very tempting at this point to tell you one story after another about marriage, which I always resist. But I must tell you just one about my brother. My brother, ladies and gentlemen, is 5 years older than I am. Just got married. Now, before you wonder what took him so long, I'll tell you, it's my mother's fault. Every time my brother brought a girl home, my mother always found something wrong with her. This one's too fat, this one's too tall, this one's too stupid. One day he said to me, "You're a psychologist. With your own eyes, you see what's happening. Do you think I'll ever bring home a girl Mama will like?" I said, "It's psychologically possible." He said, "How?" I said, "Well, it's only a theory." He said, "Tell me the theory." I said, "Bring home a girl some night that looks like Mama." By God, if he didn't. He came home one night with a girl. She not only looked like my mother, she talked like my mother. She thought like my mother. And guess what? My father didn't like her. You see how frustrating it all is? Now let me ask you another little question. You've all spent a good chunk of your lives going to school, studying, learning, educating yourselves. I know if you have children, you want to give them the best education you can possibly afford. Here's the question. Of all the things a human being studies, learns, puts his years, his money into, what would you say is the most important thing that he can ever learn? Just think the answer. Because while you think it, I have a little food for thought for you. Listen. In 1923, a very important meeting was held at the Edgewater Beach Hotel in Chicago. Attending this meeting were 9 of the world's most successful financiers. Among those present were the president of the largest independent steel company in the world, the president of the largest utility company, the president of the largest gas company, the greatest wheat speculator, the president of the New York Stock Exchange, a member of the U.S. President's cabinet, the greatest speculator in Wall Street, the head of the world's greatest monopoly, and the president of the Bank of International Settlements. Now, certainly, ladies and gentlemen, we must admit that gathered here are a group of the world's most successful men, at least men who have learned the secret of making money. Let us see what has become of these 9 men. The president of the largest independent steel company in the world, Charles Schwab, died a bankrupt and lived on borrowed money for 5 years before his death. The president of the largest utility company, Samuel Insull, died a fugitive from justice, penniless in a foreign land. The president of the largest gas company, Howard Hobson, died in a mental hospital, totally insane. The greatest wheat speculator, Arthur Cutten, died in a foreign land, insolvent. The president of the New York Stock Exchange, Richard Whitney, was recently released from Sing Sing prison. The member of the U.S. President's cabinet, Albert Fall, was pardoned from prison so that he could die at home. The greatest speculator in Wall Street, Jesse Livermore, died a suicide. The head of the world's greatest monopoly, Ivar Kruger, died a suicide. The president of the Bank of International Settlement, Leon Fraser, died a suicide. All of these men learned very well the art of making money, but not one of them learned the most important thing that any of us could possibly learn: how to live